All right, welcome to another episode of the Mind Builder Podcast. I'm Leo, here with Amber. Amber, say hello. I just want to thank everyone again for all the support. I want to ask you guys, continue to spread the word on Instagram, Facebook, stories. Sign up to our Facebook group. You can find Facebook group at
The Mind Builder.
The Mind Builder on Facebook. So please continue to share. Let's hop into the topic. Last week was a little bit of a darker topic. Let's see if we can maybe lighten things up, and just kind of wanted to discuss something that came out of nowhere. But we went to go speak recently at a local college to a bunch of young students who are, I guess, aspiring entrepreneurs. And the team from Hammer Fitness spoke in front of them, and I don't know, we kind of got a viewpoint of like all these young kids who are studying and going to school and spending money on education and wanting to make it on their own. And what was the first guy's answer as to why he wanted to be on his own? He wanted to go work
Doesn't want to have a boss, doesn't want to have to answer to someone, wants free time. And the first thing I said to him was all the reasons you shouldn't be. Like, those are points that I made before going into it. Like, the reasons not to be an entrepreneur.
But those are the reasons most common.
Laziness.
Like, you probably hear that from your friends. Like my friends who have worked 9-to-5 jobs always think like, oh, an entrepreneur. You get to call your own shots. You get days off. You can call in sick. And in a way, it's correct. But if you are one, you understand that you're
going to fail like that.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
The only way you're going to succeed as being an entrepreneur is if you have an extreme degree of ownership and responsibility. It's the only way. That's first and foremost.
So they were, I don't know, like
19,
20s, 19, 20, 21. And they're just looking for the answers, just like we are looking for answers. And their questions are always like, how should I go about it? What should I do? What's the easiest route? They want to know the mistakes that we've made. So what do we tell people? If we were trying to tell someone to the best route of success, what would it be? Do you need education anymore?
You know what this reminds me of, though? It reminds me of people that make Instagram posts about being an entrepreneur and all these tips, and they're getting all these things from the books they've read. Brother, sister, you read all the books in the world. Yeah. That's not going to teach you anything. Yeah. I'm just going to, please, don't start regurgitating stuff that you don't understand, first and foremost. It's just lingo. It's just vocabulary. There's no true meaning behind what you're saying. And there's no book. There's no YouTube video. There's no even podcast that's going to teach. Look, what it will do, it will guide you.
Yes.
But you got to learn the hard lessons on your own, experience the pain on your own, face it on your own. And people don't want to do that. Like, they're sitting there and they're talking about, like, entrepreneurs do this and entrepreneurs, like, man, when people talk to me about business plan, Amber, what's your business? Fuck do I know? I don't give a fuck about a business plan.
I don't even have time to think of one.
Yeah.
I'm almost too afraid to write one down.
Well, I'm going to sell myself short. Probably.
Yeah, or I'm going to aim for the moon, and then it's like, what am I I'm wasting my time. Like, I just wasted 15 minutes trying to design a plan.
Do the work.
Yeah, just try and survive. Like, it is just survival from week to week, from day to day. Like, how often do you ever think of just shutting the doors? And doors, I mean, like, doors to the business. Like, just...
Oh, every single day. I ask myself why it's worth it. Why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing this for? What is the real benefit of owning a business, honestly? Because... Sure, you may make money. I'm sure you get to a point where you make a pretty good amount of money. But even then, what am I trading off for that money? That's not worth it. I'm giving up my health. I'm giving up my... Man, like, I'm going to tell you something. I went to the gym the other day. I was foam rolling. And I didn't sleep for a day. I was foam rolling. I woke up 45 minutes later on the turf at the gym. I just passed out in the middle of my workout. Mm-hmm. Because, like... There's a certain degree of prioritization, I got to prioritize the things in my business, because if I don't do that for a day, I fall behind, and then it's just a huge mess. And I'm responsible for clearing that mess. I mean, you want to get employees because you want to make money. Well, like, now I have a greater responsibility because, like, my employees are all messaging me. They need the answers. I can't just say, oh, I'm on vacation, guys. Like, we always talk about this. You have to be in a sweet spot in your business, and that sweet spot is nowhere in the middle.
Yeah, we were just talking about that recently. You want to either be by yourself,
small time, and you'll make a lot of money for being small time, because your expenses are so low.
Yeah, you keep it all.
Yeah, like, I don't have to pay employees, I don't have to pay a graphic designer, I don't have to pay a podcast guy, I don't have to pay, we don't have to pay someone to do our accounting even.
How often do we talk about it? 10 years ago, we're just like, man, the money was coming in easily. Like there's a difference between money coming in and money coming in easily. When it comes in easily and the stress is gone.
It's nice. You make $250,000 a year, but you keep $250,000 a year, and you get to shut off.
And you didn't stress.
You don't have to answer it anymore.
Yeah. And then the more experience you get, the more you understand the problems you can have. You order $10,000 worth of t-shirts, you know the issues that can come with it. The first time you do it, whatever, you don't know what can go wrong. But so then what do we tell these kids? What do we tell new people? Because when we were growing up, and I think even generations before us, it was all about post-secondary education. Like in the 1970s, everybody needed university to get a business job.
You know, the problem with school is great because it teaches you a lot of things, but so does going to work at McDonald's, honestly. You have an open mind. You want to absorb everything. Like you think, oh, you're going to go to school for business because you're going to be an entrepreneur. I want to see you go work at McDonald's and be the best employee there and absorb everything. You can go and learn from a multi-billion-dollar business on how they do things. Clearly, they're doing something right.
Yeah, they got their own school too, no?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that you have to do.
College.
Like
McDonald's college.
Yeah, they don't even want you to do. They don't even want you to do University of Toronto. They'd rather.
Well, I'm the same with my employees. You know, people sometimes email for jobs and like, hey, I have this education. I don't give a fuck about your education.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't start selling me on education. Sell me on character. Mm-hmm. Sell me on what you because. To be quite honest with you, next year I may not be selling fitness products.
Yeah.
Like we may go into something completely different because our core values remain the same. Like I want to help people and you know all these things, but it doesn't really matter how we help people. The only reason why I do fitness is because I have a interest in fitness, a hobby. But I have many other hobbies and I have many other and I can help people in many other ways. In fact, we could probably go into self-development and be more successful because like we really want to help people and we have a passion for self-development.
And it doesn't have to be strictly fitness related. Yeah. Now we can help 100% of the population as opposed to, I don't know, 10, 20% who care about body.
Not everyone cares about fitness. Everyone cares about living a better life.
Yeah. But and really, what do you think? Should we care about fitness that much?
No, like, we should care about the
mindset and our health. Like fitness being part of it.
Well, we all approach fitness wrong. Like completely way off. Like we approach fitness like, okay, what's the plan? Yeah. The plan is you stop fucking eating. And you know how we're going to stop eating? By being in control of your life, having some degree of discipline. And you know what that comes down to? Your mindset. You know, and people all the time, they'll Amber, are you going to put me on a meal plan? Brother, you didn't follow the last one. What makes me think you're going to follow this one? Yeah. Your mindset's the problem.
Yeah, we don't need a meal plan yet.
And the same thing with employees. I don't need someone to count macros. Guys, this is elementary. To be quite honest with you, once you learn anything, it's no more elementary or no less elementary than flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Same
it's just
thing.
A different thing. Yeah. But it's the same.
One's looked down upon. That's our problem. Yeah. Right? We look down upon the guy who's flipping burgers.
Yeah.
But the guy who's counting macros or stock market or whatever.
We look down. We just glorify certain things. But
a bricklayer's an idiot. That's the way we look at life. Oh, you just use your hands, cement, lay some bricks.
At one point in time,
you're not a stupid guy.
At one point in time, it was looked up to be that strong man. I think in society, you're not even you're useless to be the strong man now. What do we need strong men for? Physically.
Yeah, so that's a big change in society. Like, do you need strength? There's a million jobs that have disappeared. Shoemaker, do we need them anymore? Do we need these skilled trades? Do you need a tailor? Like, do we even need a seamstress? Like, is it a popular job?
Don't you think at one point in time the shoemaker was highly respected like the fitness coach?
100%.
Probably more.
Because I needed a good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Good pair of shoes said I was technically, quote unquote, successful, fit, good looking, rich.
And you know the problem we have with people, and this is why I don't employ just anyone, I'm very specific about it, is if you think that you're in some sort of upper echelon position in life because you're a coach, no, you're approaching it wrong.
Yeah.
Because one day coaching could be garbage. It might not be a thing. I need the successful part of you. I need to see the successful part of you, the mindset of you. I need to see your adaptability. I need to see what your core values are. Do you want to help people or do you want to be an egotistical fitness coach? Because I'm going to get a lot more out of you and you're going to get a lot more out of yourself in the long term by having the right mindset. But if you just come into this the fitness coach, I can't adapt. Man, I used to hire people and I would never hire those people today if it was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And there's nothing wrong with them. It's just I understand so much more what a useful and what a useless person is to my business. And, and that even goes to the degree of I hire women now, it just happens to be women, but that are so good at communicating with people. And not that they don't have it, I don't even try to understand if they have a skill for fitness.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a skill for communication.
Yes.
Done. That's all I need.
Get your message across.
Because you're going to be communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was like, I need someone who's good at fitness. But we can't even break that barrier if you don't even know how to communicate to the person.
Yeah.
Like, we never talked about fitness, you and I.
Never.
So it wasn't even a concern.
No. It's like step one. It's like, do you speak English? I don't ask you, do you speak English?
Yeah.
Like,
I know
already
you
know
speak
you do.
English. Okay.
Yeah. Just by the way you're talking, I
Yeah.
know you speak English, so I don't need to
Yeah.
talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Like, let's get to the next
And when
step.
I look at past employees and complaints, and I look at the success and all these sort of things, it's because I was hiring, and they're not bad people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not fitted for my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hiring them based on the wrong principles. Now, we get no complaints.
I was
ever.
going to say, so when we did our last complaint check, because it's technically
Feedback.
Yeah,
What is it called?
feedback check, end of the year 2019. Like,
So we ask every single client. We
hundreds
send
and
out a
hundreds
survey.
of replies, and we were like skimming through
Come
to
on,
see if we
give
could
us-
find, almost kind of wishing for one. Because to be honest, where do you learn? You don't learn from someone telling you did a good job. Like, if I keep hearing I did 10 out of 10, I don't know how I'm going to get better.
Well, this is everyone. They don't want to face truth.
We were looking, me and you were just staring, looking for.
Oh, like someone here ranked a 7 out of 10.
Please
what was
tell me
that?
more.
Like,
What was the issue?
Like,
That-
this guy was just unhappy with like a shirt he ordered. It took too
Okay,
long. Fuck
okay,
off, man.
okay.
Tell me something worse.
Yes.
I need to get better.
I need to grow. It's the whole thing. So then these kids ask, what should I do? Should I stay in school? Should I invest money? I had a girl asking the other day, should I stay in school for something I don't love, but it's a safe, quote unquote, safe job? So I'm going to have a job, it's going to make me my $60K, $80K a year for the rest of my life, pension,
You failed, but you still failed.
but you won't be happy.
You failed.
Or do you take a risk now, quit school, and move forward?
Look, you're gonna fail at everything you do in life. Meaning you're gonna hit obstacles, and failure to me is like you stop. Because like I don't fail because I just keep going and try to reverse engineer and figure everything out. But like even if you're doing the safe thing, you're still failing.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're the most successful at the safe thing? Like you may as well take a chance on something that you really enjoy and really wakes you up every day. Because like this road of life is going to be a very long road of
Tough.
failure
Tough.
and being beaten
Tough.
down. And it's something weird that happens. It doesn't necessarily happen when you're a bit younger, I think, like in your teens and stuff, because you're naive. But once you hit a certain age, you're like, man, it's like, can I just get a 3-month period where I just have like a clear road and not being beaten down? That's what I used to wish for. And I realized like, fuck it, whatever. I may wake up today and hear the worst news, and we're just going to keep going because like, it's like the journey of life. It's the process of life. Whereas people want like, oh man, like I just don't want to fail. Why? Why don't you want to fail?
Mm-hmm.
What are you scared of?
Exactly. But don't you feel weird saying it? It's not like we're old people. But you're right. There is a point in time where you hit that age and you're just like, you start to change. You approach 30 and you have a little bit more tolerance. And now you're just like, I don't even care. Who cares if I fail? I don't care what people think. Does it matter what people think? I don't even mind failing in front of people. Let's fail more and let's get faster at it. Let's speed up the process. Like, let me fail so I can learn, so I can try again.
It's the only thing that fuels me.
It's so true. Sometimes I think the pain is better than the joy. The pain, I think it lasts longer. So
it burns.
It burns.
Like
you need that fire.
I want to go around just punching everyone after I feel that pain. Like this wakes me up. Like you're all dead. Everyone that laughed at me is dead to me, and I'm gonna show everyone. Hey, you know what? Maybe that shouldn't be the motive, but if I gotta get motivated about something, like let it be anything.
So is the correct move then to chase comfort and being like, okay, I got my check coming in every Friday or whatever, bi-weekly, safety, have time off, my weekends are off. Maybe that's a win.
I think the biggest win in life is being resourceful and being useful, honestly. I think who cares if you're winning in finances? Who cares if you're living a comfortable life? Like, I mean, if that makes you happy, do it. But like, we got to be useful in life. Like, you want to be called upon. And I'm not just talking about a job. I'm talking about like,
as part of society,
family,
member, Like, who are you supporting?
Like, look, man,
Can anyone count on you?
I'm going to say we, because people are going to be sensitive out there and it's judging me.
Yeah.
We don't do a good enough job at being good humans, bottom line. Nobody does. I don't think anybody does.
None of us, including us.
And when I see this, like, I go through life thinking, man, everybody's a fucking user. Everybody uses me. And then I think to myself, like, I'm sure there's 20 people that think that about me, and I don't think. I'm like, what
I'm
do
a
you
nice
mean?
guy.
Yeah, I don't use anyone, but
perspective, right?
I just don't realize it.
Yeah.
So I think we have to do a better job at being there for other people, because that's all we really like. We see in tragedy that the glue that holds human beings together is love. Is like care. Is I had a client who her mom just passed away. She has no dad, and You know, you realize in those moments, like, what does everything mean? Everything means nothing. Like, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to lose your mom, you're going to lose your dad, you're going to lose yourself. And, like, what does all this mean if your relationships aren't golden, you know? Like, you need to be in a position where your relationships have meaning. And you're a meaningful person, and you're a purposeful person. You're there for other people. It's not just about you. Don't live a life just about you. And that's what human beings are doing. It's all about me.
Selfish.
What am I achieving?
Yeah.
What is this, you know?
Making money for myself so I can buy myself stuff.
So I can feel
And then I don't even have time to spend with my kids. So what's the point of all of it? We're running around in a circle.
And you'll make enough money if you're an entrepreneur to realize that that's the life you're living. But you're in such a huge machine now, like a
How do you get out?
production line, that it's like, man, if I stop, everything stops.
Yeah, there's no way to scale. It's hard to scale up and hard to scale down. Like when you're at the low point, you're dying to add gasoline and scale things. That's what we're always talking about. Oh, how do I scale this? If I'm making 10,000 a year, how do I turn this into 100,000? But when you're making $500,000, it's hard to scale that back. It's hard to be like, you know what? I only want to work 3/4 of the hours and make 3/4 of the money. It doesn't work that way.
No, you don't scale evenly or proportionally.
No. If you turn down one client, it's not like you just lose that one.
You lose 20.
Yeah. You could just say, you know what, I don't want to work on Sundays anymore. Sundays is going to be
You
my
didn't lose
day with my
1/7
kids.
of the week.
Yeah.
You lost 3/7.
Yeah. It could be everything. You could lose half your business.
Yeah. Bad decisions.
Those people could all leave, which then means their friends
Here's the problem. You think we're even meant to do all this?
No, that's yeah.
Our brain, and we know this, like the part of our brain, the new brain, is an evolutionary component that we've created through the process of constant adaptation. We know this. Like when you expose yourself to something new, your brain is stimulated and grows. So over time, like you started off weighing 100 pounds, now you weigh 200 pounds because you just keep that constant cycle of stimulation, growth, adaptation. The same thing happened to our brain over the course of hundreds and thousands of years. Like we were just so primitive and so Neanderthal-like at one point in time that all we did was like, okay, I gotta eat. Hungry, feel hunger, eat, kill,
rest,
have sex, to reproduce,
recover.
And that's it. But we weren't thinking thoughts, cognitive thought. We weren't thinking languages. We weren't communicating with each other about any of these things. So a lot of our problems come from the fact that our brain has been evolved to adapt to the stimulus of the world we've created, but we don't have an outlet for it. We don't, our tolerance is, we've changed our tolerance, but our life is not designed to keep up with the demand of the tolerance. Because like you don't need to hunt food now. You don't need to pursue a partner. You don't need to do anything that you are biologically hardwired to do. So as a result of that, now you are left to deal with your emotional state, and you have all these emotions and feelings, but you have nowhere to put it. So like it comes out in different ways, like anger. Mm-hmm. Like I'm angry now. Why am I angry? Well, because like I didn't kill anyone, and I have to kill someone in order to eat, but I got to eat without killing someone. Right? So like we are hardwired incorrectly, and there's definitely a miscommunication between our brain and our physiology. Like I feel hunger, now I need to go hunt, kill, but like I don't need to do that now. So then what happens to all of these bottled up emotions?
So then what does that do with our next generations? If we're trying to be perfect. Like we grew up and we were still outdoors, no cell phones, like it was a little bit more old fashioned. Like now
we've experienced both.
Yeah, but like what does a kid do now? They're inside all day, computers, iPads.
Watching social media. And then like constant stimulation.
We don't even catch germs. Like they don't catch germs. They don't get dirty. They don't jump in a puddle.
That's a great point.
They don't play in the snow. Like they don't hop on a bike.
Like you need to catch germs.
Don't you need to cut yourself? Don't you need to fall? Jump in a puddle, get dirty. And I catch myself all the time with my kids. Like don't do this.
You're telling your kid. So all you've done for 10 years of his life is scare him, instill fear. If you're like that. And all you've done for 10 years of his life is teach him to fit in
to a box.
Nobody fits into the box, first of all.
No, it's a fake box that we created. So no guy, no girl, no whatever can fit into this box because it's a fake box.
Like right now, if your kid starts yelling, what would you say to him?
I tell him to shut up. Be
Well,
quiet.
what's wrong with yelling?
I don't know, and I don't even know why he's yelling. Maybe I should find that out first.
Well, like I talk about expression a lot.
Yeah.
Like we need to physically express our bottled up emotions, and this is something we could talk about in a later podcast. It's like how do we release? You have all these emotions. You need to release. You need to yell. Like have you ever heard of like yelling therapy?
Yeah, and it feels so good.
Yeah. It's an amazing feeling because you're releasing.
Punch. You just need to punch a bag, punch a wall.
We already know that your physical and your emotional are intertwined and interconnected. So we can release our physical point of being bottled up through an emotional by doing it in a physical way, by yelling, by punching things, by running, by doing something where we release, let go of it all. But we don't even do that because we're not allowed to. And then you have fucking teachers now who tell you like, oh, your kid is like, I'm going to tell you something. When I was growing up, my teacher, I was in, what is it called when you're in like the dumb reading class?
The dumb reading class.
Yeah, I was in the dumb reading class. It's so dumb, I don't even know. And
it was called the Amherst class. You're the only
just
kid
for
in
me.
it. Who's that immigrant kid?
So
Amir?
the teacher, like I was in remedial reading, okay?
Yeah.
And remedial English.
Fancy word for a dumb class.
Yeah, come on, why'd you just call it English? Yeah. You're telling me to go to remedial reading. I don't even know how to spell.
So you were in that in grade school?
Grade 5, grade 4, grades. Yeah. But in all fairness, I was smarter than everyone in my class all the time. And I believe this because I always knew the answers to things. I just didn't give a shit to try because I wasn't challenged enough.
You weren't fitting the box of the education system.
So they would always tell me, oh, you're this, you're that. Like every year of my life. I've been suspended every year of my life since grade 5, first of all. But also, they would always have parent-teacher meeting with my mom and tell her, like, man, this guy's, like, he's going to fail.
He's crazy.
He's not, like, I don't know what's wrong with.
And I can imagine your mom. I don't even know your mom that well, but I can imagine her just being a mom as a parent, just hearing that, like breaks your heart. Because my son is not fitting the rules and regulations of what
failure relative
normal society. He's a failure.
The teachers tell me he's a failure. And like I felt bad for my mom because she had to deal with that my whole life. But like, Mom, don't worry about me.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
Now the same people that were getting 90s, 100s that were the smart ones with, oh man, I can't believe you turned out. Guys, I was never surprised.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to turn out successful relative to what.
Yeah, I just didn't care what we were doing that day. Yeah.
I didn't need to care.
Yeah.
So, then this teacher saw my sister a couple years ago and she told her, like, man, I taught him how to read. Like, no, you didn't. You taught me that I was dumb and that I didn't know what I was doing. But you didn't understand me well enough because you were constantly trying to fit me into this mold of what a successful kid is. So what you did by doing that is just take away, like, the best parts of me. Like, you took away the emotional creativity, you took away every single aspect that makes me or would end up making me successful because you didn't allow me to express it. And I'm not saying that my way is the right way either.
No.
But to
or
assume,
that there's one way.
But to assume that, like, I employ teachers now. Mm-hmm. Like my sister's a teacher.
Yeah.
She has a master's in education. Like, I employ her. Why? Because she's more successful than me. If we're going based on whatever, is she more successful than me? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. You're focusing on the wrong things. You're focusing on education as the benchmark of success or of ability to be successful.
Or education being
like all my friends that are multimillionaires failed school or close to. Like my brother is very successful in real estate. Does $50 million a year of sales, and I don't know if he'd probably just barely passed high school. Like I got kicked out of high school.
But again, so we just keep reverting back to this one
high school.
High school or college. Like we call education the school system, but there's learning that can be done outside of that. So like your brother may not have cared about high school, but he continued to learn. He's learning. He might be learning from YouTube. He might be learning from Instagram. He might be learning from the news. He might be learning from a mentor. He might be learning from a partner. But he's continuing to absorb information, process.
That's all it is. That's all education is.
Like he's probably learned more since he's been out of school.
Of course.
Than he learned when he was in school.
You know what I always wanted to say to the school? Like, guys, if you tell me that I can do all of this in 3 years, like how many years are in kindergarten?
Yeah, let's say 8 years of grade 1 to grade 8.
I'll get an A and everything.
Yeah. Let me speed it up.
Yeah, like, but you don't make me go. Like, why do you assume that all of us learn at the same rate?
They don't.
But you make the assumption by putting us in grades that everyone learns at the same exact rate based on age. Yeah. This is now the benchmark and the golden standard of what we all are relative to each other. Age.
Again, it's just a numbers game.
Like I know 50-year-olds that can deadlift more than 20-year-olds. Yeah. Based on age, he should be doing less or more, depending on how you view it. But we need to stop looking at things this way. And if you're a parent, you need to stop looking at things that way as well. Like my sister, when my niece was diagnosed as extreme or severe autistic, I just told her, like, who's to say these fucking people that are not autistic are successful? Like you're telling me that all these kids that are not autistic are successful or they're going to be more successful.
No.
Like, we just have to teach her in a way that she understands. We're going to have to teach her things and get the best out of her relative to what she's good at or not good at, and
what she likes to do.
don't listen to these people, teachers and educators and all these people that are saying, well, like, she's not good enough. That's all relative to us. Like, guiding her in the right direction, exposing her to a degree of stimulus so that she will adapt. But, like, if we just put everyone in the same box, like, we're making the assumption that either you fit it or you don't.
Yeah. Or you pass the test or you don't. Who cares about the test? Who says the test is the answer to everything? Like, do you care what people, if they pass a test, if they do well in an exam? You don't care about that. What about standing in front of someone and talking? Can you sell? Can you get in front of someone and sell a product?
I'll never forget when I went to school for architecture. This teacher, I don't even know why he did this.
Where'd you go to school for architecture?
George Brown. I never understood why he did this. You know, he in the middle of the class, he got up and he said, like, try to embarrass me.
Yeah.
You copied this paper or whatever it was.
Yeah, sure.
I couldn't believe it. And, like, everyone was surprised by my reaction because I was, like, a vicious guy. You know, still am. It just comes out in different ways. Yeah. And I said to him, fuck you. That's the first thing I said to him, fuck you. Like, I didn't copy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I really didn't.
Yeah, but that's the answer of someone who didn't copy, though. It's fuck you.
Yeah, I didn't care. I wasn't going to be like, no, sir. Like, and everyone was looking at me.
Was that the test? Was he testing you?
I don't remember what it was. But I just remember, like, this interaction where I said, buddy, and he's like, oh, get out of the class. I said, fuck you. I'm not getting out of anything. Because, like, my beliefs are going to take me to success more than me fitting into what you think. Like, why? Well, based on what I copy? Based on, like, the way you analyze tests or analyze things? Like, and I didn't. So, listen, buddy. You're not the benchmark of determining what success is in life. I believe in myself. And because I believe in myself, I know I'll be successful. I don't need you to justify. I don't need you to give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Like, when I worked at a restaurant, I took that restaurant from $3.5 to $4.7 million. I don't know anything about the restaurant industry. I don't even know anything about management. I just adapted. Having said that, I also don't think being the hardest worker is the benchmark for what's going to determine success.
So that's something else I wanted to talk about is working hard. And I think we've both fallen into that trap because it naturally makes sense. The harder you work, the more you should get. It doesn't actually work that way.
No, there's laws of diminishing returns.
Yeah, diminishing returns. The more you do, you actually get less per hour. So if we tie it back to the beginning when we're talking about entrepreneurs and, I want to be an entrepreneur because I get to make my own hours. If you actually calculated how many hours you were awake a day per week, you know, people, what is it, 40 hours a week is the average? So like 80 hours is a lot. Let's say you're pulling in 100. You're not making much money per hour.
You're not making relative to the scaled 100 from 40.
Yeah. So if you think that gets depressing, sometimes when we do these this is, I think, what makes us want to quit is when you're lying in bed and you're doing the calculations on a Sunday night and
like,
you're
holy
like,
shit, I just worked.
I just worked 110 hours. I'm stressed to the max. I can't sleep. I'm grinding my teeth. I'm sad. I'm depressed.
My client, she told me that her boyfriend's working 7 days straight for 30 days.
I thought you were going to say 30 years. I was going to be like, oh, okay.
And she's like, that's
30
like,
days.
I'm like, you know, I just did that for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, don't think because I didn't show up to do physical work. My brain is the work. And
all
that's,
the time.
And that's the more exhausting part. Like, your brain constantly working, being stimulated, thinking, like, problem solving. That's the hardest part about all of this. Your brain is computing at a rate.
Something I've heard many times growing up from the people I worked with was doing the work twice. Like, how often do you think you actually do the work? Because sometimes it's like I'm lying in bed the night before tomorrow, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to actually do
the work in your brain.
I already did it one time. Like, I already thought about it. Like, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do this, say this, do this, meet with this person. And then the next day is just actually performing.
Well,
so you're doing it twice. Like, that's fucking tiring.
You gave me an example one time with a client where he's like, asked me, should I take a diuretic?
Yeah.
And, like, he just thinks it's, like, simple, like, yep, no.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I already thought of every possibility for the last 20 days of, like, what can go wrong, what could go right. If we go this way, we're going to have to take this. Like,
yeah, you've been wanting him to take a diuretic 10 times along this journey, and then just realized it wasn't the right time.
And that almost annoys me with my work sometimes, where people say, oh, you said this. Like, I said that based on the circumstances that I saw yesterday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday at 12 p.m.
Trust me. Like, you know what I do with clients, you know, leading up to their show? I don't give programs ever. And some people get annoyed or frustrated by that. Like, just give me a plan, man, for the next 10 weeks.
Like train chest on Monday?
I would love to give you a plan, because that takes away about 10,000 hours of work, you know? Like, if it was that easy, and effective, I would do it. But I'm doing what's effective, not what's easy. I'm taking the hard road. Just so you know, I'm taking the hard road by constantly thinking, and it's very exhausting doing that. So
Exhausting.
I'll observe
So true.
tomorrow, and I'll observe the day after, and constantly give you feedback and give you the program for that day based on what I'm seeing, which is very hard because now I have to, and maybe it's not even gonna, like, for how much more I'm doing, it's not paying off that much more because it took me from like the client from like maybe second or third place to first place, but 100 times more work for one placing up. It didn't make sense.
But that's usually how it goes in life. To go from 10th to 9th is not as much work.
Well, to go from 10th to 5th is a lot easier than going from second to first.
Yes.
You went up 5 places.
Yes.
Which is a lot easier than going up 1 place when you're closer to the threshold of things. So what's the solution?
What do we tell people? What should they do?
I don't know, because here's the thing. I've had people that worked for me that went and started their businesses, and
Yeah, so that's the thing. There is no sweeping answer. Like, if people tell us, should I quit my job? Like, to some people I want to say, yeah, what are you waiting for? Quit your job, go. But then there's other people you want to say, like,
you know what? It depends on you.
Don't.
Are you able to adapt? Like, when you fail, what do you do? How do you adapt? Like, do you just quit? You know what has got me to the point where I'm at now in my business? And people say this always, like, man, like, you're this, you're that. There's only one thing, and if I'm going to give you advice, it's this one thing. It's my stamina. I can just keep going for a long time, which is the hardest part, because like I could crash course this and be successful in 6 months, but like what happens on month 8? I'm just going to fail because I can't keep up with this demand. I haven't built that tolerance. So like, build some tolerance in life. When we talk about this, everything's about tolerance. It's ability to adapt to whatever stimulation there is.
so what do we tell these kids? They want to be entrepreneurs. One of them, I told them, don't quit, man. Like, just do it on the side. Start up slowly.
So what I tell people is, have you done everything possible at your job now? Like, I want to quit my job. Why? You're a failure at your job. Show me that you can succeed at
Have
your...
you even achieved there?
Yeah, like, and that's what changed my outlook on starting my business, because I said, if I'm going to start a business, let me see what I can do here on someone else's dime. I'm not just going to go start a business and be that naive and that delusional. And even though I did that with someone else's business, I still failed in my first year because I made less money on my own than I did working at a restaurant. So I was still a failure anyways, even though I learned on someone else's dime. So like, everyone just wants to do it. You know, people don't respect, and that's the thing, how difficult things are.
Respect is a good word. Respecting the process, respecting the exhaustion. Like you've mentioned, like, are you willing to constantly be tired in order to make the right decision? And that's one thing I think we do often is we're constantly making the decision that goes against our well-being.
Oh yeah.
And that, I think that's what actually hurts us the most is when we see someone forgo that. You're like, oh, you chose the easy way. Like, I can't count on you.
Yeah.
I can't believe in you. I saw that when you had the opportunity to struggle, maybe lose an extra hours, like, you didn't take the opportunity.
Took the easy way out.
You took the easy way out. And as soon as we see that, it's
No
like,
respect.
you're dead to me.
Yeah, no respect.
You can't take it back. Because I
wanna see
know.
you fail.
I want to see you fail at something that wasn't that hard.
Struggle.
Because if you can't struggle at something that's easy, like,
So what do we ask people?
what about when my life's on
We
the
should be
line?
asking people, what's your biggest failure in life? You know, when you try to become a cop, you apply to become a cop, they ask you these questions.
Stress test.
But why are they asking you these questions?
How much can you handle?
They don't care if you, like, hey, have you ever stole before? The first answer is like,
Yeah.
no, I definitely haven't. I'm trying to become a cop. Like,
Yeah.
that's the answer. Like, I want to see if you're a fucking honest guy.
Yeah.
That's what they're asking.
Yeah.
Like, how honest are you? They'll ask you when you come in the room, what color was the wall behind you?
Yeah.
Oh, that wall. You know? Like, because they want to see how observant you are.
Yeah.
Like, hey, when you go to the washroom, do you ever look in the toilet and look at your shit?
Mm-hmm.
Because like 90% of people are gonna say, oh no, I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm too good for that.
Yeah, but like everyone does it.
Yeah.
You all do it,
Yeah, take pictures.
right? But we want to see how honest you are. That's all we're looking for. Character. We're looking for character, and we always talk about this in every podcast or every post. It's all about character. Like, do you even have the character to be successful? Like, I want to see that.
Is your character consistent? Is it real? Or is it fucking fake all the time? Are you just putting up an act, you know? But yeah, so these police officers, stress test. What do you think?
In terms of like what they're exposing them to.
Yeah. Like, what's the whole point? Is it so when the pressure's on, like, what are you gonna do? Like, if
Yeah, like do
shit
you
hits
break?
the fan,
Yeah, like do you take out your gun and just shoot the person right away because you can't?
are you there
handle
for your partner?
it? Yeah.
Do you have their back?
Yeah, we're looking at who you are as a person, because who you are as a person is going to give us a lot more insight into who you become. Like what you achieve. All these things about achievement, success, accolades, these are just like the effect of something. Like we're looking at the cause. You're the cause, good or bad. So like let's not look at the consequence of things.
Yep.
Let's look at how you get that. How do you become successful?
So what's the end game?
Like I'd rather hire a criminal that has good character versus
Oh, who's the famous guy? Isn't he a criminal from the movie?
Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan Belfort.
So, scammed?
Yeah, look at this guy. Everyone hires him now to
And
teach
now-
about marketing.
So what did he do? He scammed the investment industry?
Yeah.
Went to jail?
Yeah. But there's a million people that went to school for marketing, a million people that went to school for economics that aren't that successful.
Of course. It's a very popular degree.
So why?
Yeah. Everyone goes for a bachelor.
So we want to learn about.
I have one.
We want to learn how did you become successful.
So what's his story? He scammed and now he does?
Yeah, he was scamming, and now he's like teaching people. He was in a movie. He was famous for that.
And we
writing
forgive
books.
him.
Of course. We all make mistakes. You all do too.
Everyone does,
Don't
yeah.
pretend you don't make mistakes. We all do. Some people just get caught in public. Some people, some people own up to it. Some of us lie and pretend like we're this honest, perfect person when in reality, like we're just hiding behind.
Oh, aren't we all a little bit pieces of shit? Like everyone's not a good person.
Yeah.
We're not all good
You're a piece
person.
of shit. I'm a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. We're all pieces of shit.
We're just pretending to walk around like, no,
Yeah,
I'm nice to everyone.
Judging everyone too.
Yeah.
Everyone's judging. Everyone's a great judge and a terrible. What is it? Everyone's a great judge and a terrible lawyer or a terrible.
Yeah, whatever. Check Instagram.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
Yeah. Or entrepreneurship pages.
But that's the perspective that you look at it. Like how you mentioned earlier. You think people are fucking using you, and then there's 10 people that that think that you're using them.
Yeah.
So it's just the viewpoint that you're looking at
Yeah.
it from.
Whose viewpoint? What day?
Yeah. When was it your good year? Was it your bad year? 2 years ago, everyone thinks you're probably a bum. Today, everyone thinks you're redeemed.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we always talk about long game. It's not what you do today. People will forget about your success and your failure today. It's like the stamina of what you hold over the course of 10 years. That's what we are looking at the cycle of. Like, who are
So then
you?
that's what we should be focusing on, is the long game. Like, stop trying to win now.
Everyone's trying to win now because
But
they can't. They
want
can't delay
quick
gratification.
fix. Yeah.
That's one thing. Inability to delay gratification. Inability to say no to things. We want to be rewarded. We want to be
Yeah.
compensated.
Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Because they think it's the easy way out.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go to work 9 to 5? Wait a second, until I'm 65?
Yeah, I could
That's
do
a
this,
lot of
make
hours.
millions of dollars, and then peace.
Peace out by 35. Easy way. How often does it work though? Never.
No, never. Luck. That's luck. That's a good degree of luck. You invented Facebook, and then, I mean, it's still hard work, but that's like everything hit at the right time. And he still can't just quit.
No. Sometimes I feel sorry for those guys, like
Yeah.
Bill Gates. Like, of course, they have good lives, but we don't know the pressure
Yeah.
that they're under.
Yeah.
Like, we think we're under a lot of pressure. Like, I think that's like
Yeah.
10 times, like the amount. Like, I don't think if I had to follow him around for a day, I would just be like, I can't fucking handle this.
I
Like,
can't even handle watching.
yeah, like give me a month. Like, let me follow you around for a month, maybe like once a week, just to slowly build up
Yeah.
it would be too much at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I think that's a good end to the show. Stick with it for the long game. Stop trying to win today. Stop trying to look for the easy way out. Until the next episode, thanks for listening.